Hi, from my home to your home. My name is Stephen Bello, Executive Chef at South Nassau Communities Hospital, and I'm here today with a very special guest, Lucille Hughes.
Thank you, Chef. I'm Lucille Hughes, Director of the Diabetes Education Center at South Nassau Communities Hospital. So tell us, Chef, what are we making today?
We're making a pumpkin turkey chili served in a roasted pumpkin with some homemade cornbread.
Wonderful. That sounds wonderful. And I have that perspective of patients living with diabetes and the need to really follow some helpful, mindful eating tips and strategies. But actually, as we go through this recipe, we're going to easily see that this recipe can apply to anybody that wants to be mindful of their health and wellness.
First thing we're going to do is get the pot nice and hot. We're going to add a little oil to it, so I don't want it to stick. But, moderation. There's not even a quarter of a teaspoon in there.
Yeah, that's a little bit.
And we're going to get that nice and hot. And we're going to start by adding our onions.
Okay.
And our peppers.
Wonderful.
One of the things when I do chili, sometimes when you have chili out, the vegetables are just obliterated. They're just overcooked.
Yes.
I like a little texture in the chili and just a touch of crunch, so the vegetables are in there.
Right. And the vegetables for all of us, again, even with our patients with diabetes, these are free. They don't have any carbohydrates in them. They're adding some volume. They're making us feel full. And of course, the red and green peppers have wonderful antioxidants, so the wonderful benefit, the health benefit it's adding for us. Wonderful.
It's a beautiful thing. We could add a little garlic.
Oh. The myth that's out there, Chef, is that there is a diabetic diet, and that doesn't exist. People with diabetes can eat anything they want to. It's all about understanding the health benefit to the food, moderating those carbohydrates, watching blood sugars. But people with diabetes, I should put it the opposite. People without diabetes should eat as if they had diabetes, which is mindful eating. It's all about health and wellness. It's not about deprivation anymore.
What we're going to do is we are going to add our turkey. Beautiful, 99% fat-free. You'll probably see minimal to no fat after it's been cooked. Now our turkey's been browned. It's gone about 6-7 minutes, and we're ready to add the other ingredients. We're going to add some chili powder to this mix.
Okay.
And we're going to add some tomato product.
Okay.
Now, I'm adding crushed tomatoes. You could add diced fresh tomatoes. I'll add a little water because this is going to cook down a little bit, so we don't want it too thick. And then the really cool ingredient is I had taken some pumpkin and blanched it. So we're going to add the pumpkin. Beans.
Okay.
And I like to season at the end, because as it reduces, it gets saltier, so I don't have any salt in here right now. So our turkey pumpkin chili has been simmering for 30 minutes, and we're just about ready to plate up.
Great. But before we do that, Chef, I just wanted to make a couple of notes about the ingredients for our viewers at home. The part about the turkey chili, that turkey is a very important ingredient. What we teach in our classes in the Diabetes Education Center is the mindfulness around the fat that is contained in certain meals. And one of the things that we actually use is more feet, more fat. So in other words, beef is going to come from a cow with 4 legs, so more fat than maybe a turkey, and certainly less than a fish. So that turkey, as our mindful choice, is a better choice than having beef in this particular chili. The other ingredients we did use some oils. Again, not to be afraid of fat. In a person with diabetes, we do want to be mindful of the amount of fat that we use in recipes because fat has a lot of calories, and we want to be mindful as weight as much as we are mindful of carbohydrate. But a little bit is certainly absolutely fine. And we'll see as we're getting into other ingredients, I'll make mention of that as well, right, as far as the fat is
Everything
concerned.
in moderation.
Everything in moderation, exactly.
So let's plate up.
Great.
Now we're going to start filling our pumpkin, but first I want to talk about roasting the pumpkin. I took this pumpkin, Lucille, I took a little spray because I don't want excess fat, salt and pepper, and I roasted it in a 400-degree oven for about 15 minutes.
Okay.
Removed it, cooled it, cut the top, and scooped out the inside. I like to use vessels that are indicative to the recipe that you're creating.
It's beautiful.
So I thought it'd be nice, instead of putting it on a dish, that we would serve it on a board and play around a little bit.
Great, great. And the idea that the pumpkin's also in the recipe, very important to mention as well, because pumpkin, for some people with diabetes, are going to be mindful of the carbohydrate. And it is true, there is carbohydrate in pumpkin, but a whole cup of pumpkin is 20 carbs, but it also has 7 grams of fiber. And so many people are challenged to get fiber in their diet. We know it's really good for our digestive tract, and it's an important ingredient. You're not going to have a whole cup of pumpkin in your chili. So this is going to be a really healthy, low-carb recipe for those living with diabetes. So let's get going, Chef.
All right. So I'm going to fill this. Lucille, you want to put our condiments in those little cups for us?
Be glad
We have
to.
a little sour cream and some cheese.
So, Chef, you know I can't resist. I'm going to just mention a little thing about the cheese and the sour cream. So cheese, no carbs or very, very little carbs, but it does have fat. As we mentioned before, we want to be mindful of the fat, but a little bit is not going to harm anybody. And you could also get lower fat cheeses. The only problem with low fat cheese is when you want to melt it, like over a certain recipe.
Doesn't melt
so well, but for this ingredient, it's going to be just perfect. And our sour cream, again, you can get some light sour cream, and it's really just a dollop you're going to be adding to that recipe.
That's
so
right.
Again, very, very mindful. So we have a beautiful little bit of sour cream and our cheese.
So what I thought would go nice with this, Lucille, would be a nice homemade cornbread. So I have some triangles here. And we talked about it earlier, possibly adding some corn to the mix just for a change in textures and flavors.
Sure.
And great idea. Also, I want to put some of the ingredients that are in the chili itself. You know, confetti the board a little bit, make it look pretty.
That's lovely. Nice color, nice harvest look to it.
Well, you know, it's our canvas, right? And
That's it.
it's like a painter. And then naturally, some fresh herbs. I just thought maybe a little fragrant cilantro would be nice.
Oh,
With the
look at that. What a
chili.
picture. What a picture. You almost don't want to eat it. It looks so good. When do we get to taste it?
right now.
Oh, great. Okay.
Really great balance of flavors. It's not overly spiced, and I liked a little bit of crunch from the pumpkin. I'm happy with it.
Oh, that is delicious. Absolutely delicious.
And there it is, pumpkin turkey chili, served in a roasted pumpkin
Okay.
with some homemade cornbread. From my home to yours, happy cooking. And Lucille, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you, Chef. It was a pleasure as well for me. Lovely.